Okay, friends, welcome back to the Business Time Mastery Podcast. This is the podcast where we help business owners take control of their time through an intentional time management system. We teach you how your time management is tied directly to that business revenue. Today, we are going to talk about the review process for your time management system. So if you've ever wondered, how do I improve my time management once I have a system in place? Or how do I know if this system that I've set up for myself is actually working and serving my business? If you've asked yourself those things before, this episode's for you. We're going to talk about that and leave you with action steps you can take at the end to implement this today. And this is all part of what I call the Business Time Mastery System, which is basically a system that I've laid out that you can customize to yourself. You can customize it to your business, customize it to how you like working, because time management is not a one-size-fits-all approach. It's something that can be customized to you and is most effective when you do that. So we've talked about this system in previous episodes. You can go back and review those. The first episode, we talked about vision, values, and goals, and that really being the foundation for what this system should be. We've talked about how you can proactively plan your days and your weeks. We've talked about how calendars and to-do lists fit into this system. A few episodes ago, we talked about prioritization and how really prioritization and to-do lists, you should not do one without the other or it's ineffective. We talked about time blocking last time and how we can set aside deep work. And my whole philosophy is this whole system should all be interconnected. It should be customized to you and it should work together to serve you and your business. And the really kind of tying a bow on this is the review process, going back and reviewing the system, seeing how it's working each week, and each week making kind of these tweaks to it so it's really working for you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Super excited to get into it. Okay, so lots of time as business owners, we try these time management or productivity hacks to try to be more productive. So we implement some kind of a system, and a lot of times we don't know if it is effective. We have no idea, no way of telling. Some common struggles include, I don't know if I'm actually being productive. My system feels good, but I'm not sure if it's the best use for my time. Or like, I don't want to find out too late that my time management and productivity system isn't working for my business. So I spend all this time on this system, but I find out at the end of the day that it's not working. So the key to these questions and struggles is the review process and reviewing regularly and adjusting your system regularly to work for you. So that's what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you a few ideas and tips to be able to do this in your business more effectively. Okay, so the first idea here is, if you know me and have listened to past episodes, you know that I really like really good questions, and questions can be really powerful. So the first thing that I would suggest doing is a daily review. So take 5 minutes at the end of the day, and you're just going to reflect on how your time was spent for that day. Some really good questions you can ask yourself are: question 1, what went well today? What tasks or time blocks helped me be productive? Really focus on like the positive and what went well. You obviously want to keep doing that stuff. Second question is, what didn't go as planned? So kind of the opposite of the first question. Did distractions throw me off? Did I underestimate how long a task was going to take? Those kind of things. Where really focus on the points at which things didn't go as planned or didn't work. And then 3, what's the most important thing I need to do tomorrow? So really kind of go future focused and say, okay, how am I going to adjust from today? What am I going to do differently? Maybe I don't have the distractions that I had today, like those things just aren't going to come up. Try to plan for the next day. These kind of questions in these 3 categories are powerful, but here's a tip to really level them up. It's something that I like to use in a lot of different aspects of my life. You may have heard of it. It's called using the 5 whys. So 5 whys is basically exactly what it sounds like. It's asking yourself why up to 5 times or more if you need to. But so for example, when you're asking yourself the first thing I said, what went well today? You can probably think of some things and think, oh, what went well? But you really want to try to drill down and focus on why it went well, because what we're trying to do here is identify the root cause. So we, in our review, we can go back and adjust our system if needed, right? Our time management system. So let's take the example of actually what didn't go as planned, because I think that's better for us to identify like a problem using this method. So what didn't go as planned? So say my answer is, oh, I had an unexpected meeting come up where I was in my time focus block and somebody came to me and they wanted to meet with me like right then. And then you ask yourself the question, okay, why didn't that go as planned? And it's like, oh, because I got interrupted by this client that needed an emergency meeting. Well, why did that happen? Oh, because I had my phone on during my deep work session and they were able to contact me. And then it's like, okay, well, why were they able to contact me and why did I have my phone on? Oh, because I didn't have it in do not disturb mode. And so they could contact me during that deep work session. Okay, well, why didn't I have my phone in do not disturb mode? Oh, because I haven't built that into a habit that I get into with my time management system. So you can see as you kind of drill down, you keep going, right, with this, you can kind of get to the root cause of why things are happening, and then you can make adjustments. So now I could implement a practice that whenever I go into a deep work session where I've set aside time for revenue generating activities, I always put my phone in do not disturb mode. I have maybe a way that clients can contact me if it's a real emergency, or maybe not clients, but like family members can contact me if it's a real emergency, that kind of a thing. But you can build those things into your system. So that's just an example, and you can obviously use that for identifying and drilling down in both positive things that happen and negative things that happen. And over time, this will help you adjust your plan and adjust your system, your time management system, over days and weeks and months to kind of morph into something that's the most effective for you. And the second tip is really similar to the first. The second tip is to, at the end of the week, take a longer session, so a 15 to 30 minute deep review of how things went for the previous week. The difference, I think, is that you can approach this from a higher level, bigger picture perspective, and you can say, okay, like looking at the week overall, I may have had these hiccups like day to day, but did I get accomplished what I wanted to get accomplished for that week? You can ask yourself, are my priorities aligned with my bigger business goals, or am I spending too much time on these lower value tasks? And then you can use that 5 whys method still and drill down into those, try to figure out root causes, and then you can look at doing things like delegating chunks of work like next week, right, to somebody else. Can I come up with a process to delegate this? Or was all these emails and things that I was spending a ton of time doing contributing to the bottom line of my business overall? If not, what can I build into my system to make it so I can avoid those things and focus on the things that really matter? And if you'd like a really easy way to implement a lot of this stuff very quickly, I don't talk as much about the review stuff in this mini course, but I have a free mini course where I cover the really big chunks of this system that I talk about. And in 15 minutes, you can plan your optimal business week. You can go and download that at ryanlloyd.com/free course. It's designed to really easily, it literally takes 15 minutes to go through the course. It's designed to really easily explain to you the system and get you going and get you to an optimal week in your business. Okay, so in summary, as you do this over time, as you do this review process over time, you're going to see things like if you're consistently missing deadlines, you're going to identify things like, oh, maybe I need to shorten my task list and prioritize fewer tasks every day. Or if over time you're seeing that, hey, my focus time is really like getting distracted quite often, you can adjust your time blocks and set clear do not disturb times for your deep work. Set expectations with your clients, with your family, with your coworkers, that this is time that I'm setting aside, that kind of stuff. So you can really adjust this system to work for you. You may identify that, hey, I'm really like putting too much stuff on my to-do list because it's really easy for me to put tasks on my to-do list. Maybe because I'm using a digital to-do list, right? Where it's really easy to go and type stuff in, and I can go in and type up this really long page really fast. One thing that I've do for myself is I've gone to paper for my to-do list because it's way harder to add things to that to-do list. It's way harder to maintain that to-do list, which sounds counterintuitive, but what it does is it kind of forces you to, I only have time to like write down a few things from my master to-do list onto my daily to-do list. So it really encourages focus for me. And like I said, time management systems are a customizable thing. They should be tailored to you. That's something that works for me, might not work for somebody else. But look at creating different ways you can kind of adjust this system to really serve you and serve your business. Okay, so here's 3 action steps you can take today to implement this. The first is schedule a 5-minute daily review at the end of every day to go through and do some of the stuff we've talked about in this episode. The second is block out a 30-minute time block at the end of the week. I find that Fridays are great for doing that. Friday afternoon, where you can go back and do that review and make adjustments to your time system. And then 3, I would just encourage you to identify one small adjustment that you can make to your system and test it out over the next few weeks. One thing I do recommend on that, you don't make too many adjustments to your system all at once. And then the other thing actually I would recommend is when you do make a change, work with it over the space of at least 4 weeks and see how that affects your system. A lot of times we'll make changes to a system and after a week we're like, yeah, that didn't work, and throw it out. But especially with this time management stuff, a lot of times it takes multiple weeks for you to kind of get in the groove with the change that you made and ascertain if it's working or not. So give yourself time to do that. If you don't do that, you can get into the space where it's like you're always making changes, and then it just becomes kind of like chaotic. So be very methodical with the changes that you make and if they're working. And closing up, the other thing that I found is your time management system is not meant to be static and stay the same. It's meant to kind of evolve with you and your business over time, so it will change. And by reviewing your system daily and weekly, you can kind of make that change happen in the best way. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe. Leave us a review. Follow me on Instagram. It's Ryan Lloyd Coaching is my handle. I would love to talk to you through the DMs. And if you want to go more in depth on this, you can go to ryanlloyd.com/free course and download that free mini course. The course itself takes 15 minutes, and then it teaches you how to plan your optimal business week in just 15 minutes a week. So it's a great resource, totally free. Until next time, take control of your time, master your productivity, and build the business that you've always envisioned.